and family members. It's me, Mrs. Davis, and I'm here with video number 3. And you guessed it, the topic is math. Now, this one should be pretty easy to incorporate into your everyday because, as we all know, math is part of life. We use it all the time. So this one's going to be easy to sneak in. Your child will never even realize they're in your math class every day. All right, let's get started. So the first activity I'm going to suggest for you to work on is time. So you've got clocks around your house. You might have a few analog clocks, or I know you definitely have some digital clocks. The first thing you're going to want to do is just review. It's been a few weeks since they've been in school. Review the clock, the parts, maybe, which job each hand does. If you're talking about the analog clock, remind them of the display in a digital clock and what each value stands for in the window. And you can just do some traditional activities to start off, like what time does the clock say now? If they're in first grade, you're going to want to stick to time on the hour. In second grade, you can go up to time on the hour, or I know at the end of second grade, they work on increments of 5s. Then sneak in some more challenging ones. For instance, if it's 2 o'clock now, what time will it be in 1 hour? Or looking at the clock, it's 3 o'clock. We have to meet your friend at the park in 2 hours. What time will it be? So you can slip in some time activities every day because, of course, we're always on the go. Hey, and speaking of time, don't forget those calendar skills. So you may have a calendar at your house. It may already be displayed. If you don't, you can print one off or buy one. They're really inexpensive. So display the calendar. The first thing you're going to want to do is allow your child to mark on the calendar those special days that are coming up. For instance, in July, the 4th of July, if there are any birthdays coming up or vacation, mark in those dates, let your child mark on the calendar, and then you can ask some questions concerning the month and what's going on. Of course, you can review the days of the week and the months of the year, but you can say, our vacation's coming up. How many more days until we leave? How many more days until we have to go to the doctor? Or if it's Monday and our doctor's appointment is on Friday, how many days until we have to go? Just simple questions like that. Maybe how many Fridays are in the month. So it's easy to use those calendar skills. And we know that using a calendar is definitely an important skill to use for our lives. So this is great practice. All right, now, activity number 2, shapes. Shapes are all around us. So you're going to want to review and practice 2-dimensional shapes as well as 3-dimensional shapes. You might want to review the names of the shapes and their attributes before you play a few little fun activities. So one of the things you can do with shapes, you can name a shape and they can go find it around the house. They might want to do a shape collection. They can do this indoors. They can do it outdoors. You can spy for shapes as you're traveling down the road. If you're talking about 3-dimensional shapes, you may want to throw in something like this. Instead of calling out the shape name, you may want to describe the attributes of a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional shape and have them find it and identify it, and then say to you, why do you think they have to prove to you why they think that is that shape by repeating those attributes. So don't forget to squeeze in review of 2 and 3-dimensional shapes. And again, as you're driving in the car, you're going from place to place, you're taking a walk, you can spy for those shapes. It's so easy to squeeze that in. All right, now we know that counting is a very important number sense. So some fun activities you can do with counting, of course, just oral counting. Again, as you're walking, driving, just sitting around waiting for an appointment that you have with your child and you're just waiting in the waiting room, they can count orally. But don't just start at the number 1. Have them start in different places and stop in different places. So instead of starting at 1 and stopping at 50, maybe they're going to start at the number 25 and stop at the number 52. This gives them a little bit of a variation on that. They can also count different things in a room. If they're waiting for their doctor appointment, they might want to look around and count the number of legs on the chairs in the waiting room. So just weave in practice those counting skills. Don't forget to do some skip counting by 2s, by 5s, and by 10s. Hey, and while you're thinking about numbers and counting, let's squeeze in actual number cards. So you can either make a set of number cards, or you can go to your local dollar store probably and buy a set. Here's some activities you can do with these. They can sequence the numbers. They can find a number that you call out. You can flash the numbers, and you can have them even build two-digit numbers by putting together 2 single-digit numbers. And you can even say it like this: Can you make a 2-digit number that is less than the number 50? So again, these are quick and easy and inexpensive ways to keep those skills sharp. Now, if you have access to a printer, or you can find a 100 chart in a store, this is also a great way to practice those number skills, adding skills, place value skills. So simply get some colored chips, those bingo chips, pennies, coins, cereal, beans, whatever you have to mark a called out, whatever you're calling out, a number or a number if you're giving a clue about a number. So simply start with an easy activity, find a number, and then you might want to slip in, can you find the number that comes before a given number, or after, or in between? Or you can say, what number is the same value as 4 plus 5? And then they have to add or subtract. If you're saying what number is 10 minus 1. That way you can get in those adding and subtracting skills. You might even say, what number has 9 tens and 4 ones? So again, quick and easy, no paper and pencil involved, a fun way to practice lots of different skills on this one chart. If you don't forget, you can print one off or probably find it at a dollar store, or even make one by hand. That might be fun to let your child build one by drawing the grid. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit of work, but hey, you've got all summer. Okay, so now my favorite math activity probably is this one because it involves food. Yeah, think about cooking. Think about food prep and all the math skills that are involved. So if you're doing a recipe, for instance, you're measuring, and you can talk about how you're using different sizes of measurements so that you're putting the correct amount of ingredients, and why that's important. You can get those fractional skills in. And hey, if you're buying food already made, for instance, pizza that's sliced, you can talk about a whole pizza, count the number of slices, talk about how many people you could feed. For instance, if you have a pizza that has 8 slices, you can talk about the number of people that you can feed. If there are 4 people in your family, how many slices will each person in the family get? That's always fun. And then you get to eat your math. So that's even funner. If you're opening up a bag of M&Ms or Skittles, your child can maybe separate the colors, count how many colors, talk about if there's 10 green M&Ms and there's 5 red, what's the difference? Hey, food is definitely a great way to practice those math skills. Now, I know we live in a digital world and we use our credit cards and our debit cards, but I love money. I love coins and currency. If you have some around your house, gather it up. Get those pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars, and you can, the first thing I like to do when I'm introducing a coin or using coins in my classroom is let my students, you can let your child get a magnifying glass, look up close, see what's on the coin, explore it that way and talk about it. And then, of course, talk about the value of each coin. And then you can do some counting activities. Simply have coins out and let them count. If they're counting pennies, they count by ones, counting fives, counting their dimes by 10. And then you can get a little tricky and you can say, hey, if I have 10 pennies, that's a lot to carry around. What's a better way? What's another way I can make 10 with my coins? And so then they can make some exchanges. You can talk about that. 2 fives, 2 nickels is the same value as 10 pennies. Or 1 dime is the same value as 10 pennies. It's also make an exchange, make an equal trade. And again, you can get those fractional skills in by talking about quarters. 4 quarters makes a whole. You can talk about fourths. Hey, money is really, really fun to work with and it's a life skill. So pull out that currency, pull out those coins, pull out those dollars. And if your child is working this summer for you, doing a few chores and earning some money, this is another great way to talk about how we save and spend, get those addition and subtraction skills. Talk about if I have earned $5 and I want a toy that costs $6, how much more money do I need? And how many more chores am I going to have to do to earn that? So definitely break out the coins and the money. Okay, this one's going to be a fun one. Yeah. How about playing some games? There's lots of math involved in these simple board games. Now, this game, is a kid version of Monopoly. But of course, you have to use, there's money in here involved. So there's counting, rolling the dice, moving forward, how many more spaces till you get to buy that property, exchanging maybe one of the properties in this game costs $5, but they don't have a $5 bill. How else, what other dollars can they use? What other paper money can they use to buy that property? So you're getting your adding skills, you're getting your subtraction skills. And hey, what about Candyland? If you have younger children, they don't really have a sense of what a board game involves. So this is a great way to talk about directions and counting, and each space is 1 forward. So this is a great way to build those directional skills, even with young children who definitely need practice. So break out those board games for some fun math activities. Hey, what about hide and seek? But instead of doing the traditional counting by ones, you can have your child maybe skip count by fives up to 25 before they come and find you. Yeah, there's so many ways to have fun with math this summer and work on those skills. All right. I think we've covered a lot of areas, and hopefully you found several of these ideas interesting, and hopefully you'll be able to use them. And if you can think of anything else that you'd like me to cover that you might need help with, activities for summer learning, leave me a comment about some other learning videos you would like me to share with you. All right, until our next video, as always, have a good one, and don't forget to work on those math skills.